Hello everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be discussing art styles and whether there is a right or wrong type of art style and just what is art really. So whilst I am discussing that, I have just got a speed painting running in the background. So I experimented a lot with this piece. I wanted to do a painting where I had zero expectation or planning and no idea of what the final painting would look like. It was really relaxing just to work on a piece where I had no idea what it was going to look like. I didn't plan any of the colours or anything like that. I just used a reference photo of myself and just got painting. So I really think this piece is a great representation of a piece of art that doesn't start out particularly great, and I had a lot of problems at the beginning, and it's a really good kind of view of how I got to fixing it and making it look like something that I was actually happy with. So I do think it's really important to do this type of art where you have to experiment with stuff and get out of your comfort zone a bit. And even if the work turns out awful, it doesn't really matter. You could find some awesome new techniques that you haven't kind of tried before just by trying new things, going in without any sort of kind of views of what you want the final product to look like and just trying out new things. So I definitely recommend going and doing something like this. Just pick up your paintbrush, draw something out and just get painting without worrying about colour, composition and all of that sort of stuff. Just try out new things and it will help you get out of a rut and learn something new. Anyway, let's get on with today's discussion, which is art styles. So I think in society and in the art community, a lot of people have different opinions on what they think is the right kind of art style. And I feel like there's a lot of people trying to tell you that your art style is wrong and that it's not art what you're creating. And I really don't think this is the case. I think that there's loads of different art styles, and just because you have a different style of art doesn't mean that your art is not valid, that it's not art. So loads of different examples. So for example, with photorealism, which is what I do quite a lot of people say that it's not art because you're just copying something. There's not a lot of creativity. It's just like technical application. And on the other side, people think that anime or cartoons, that's not art because, it's just a cartoon. It's not really anything too technical. People think that abstract art is not really art because anyone could do it. It's just shapes and stuff where you're just kind of flinging paint on a canvas. They say, well, how can that be art if you're just kind of throwing stuff on the canvas? Anyone could do it. Same with digital art. People are saying, well, that's not a real art style. You can't do digital art because it's not physically artwork. It's not traditional art. It's just on the computer. It's a lot easier. And I feel like there's kind of everyone trying to say that each art style is wrong for its own specific reason, and I think it's just because people don't understand each other's art styles. I don't think any specific art styles are wrong or any lesser of art than any other art styles. Just because I personally don't understand abstract art and I don't kind of like it, that doesn't mean that I don't think it's art and that I don't appreciate people that do that, because I think there's an audience for every single type of art style. Yes, there'll be people that don't like the art style that you're doing. A lot of people don't like realism, which is what I do. And that's completely okay because there's going to be loads of people that love what you do and love the art style that you create. They won't like other art styles, but they'll love your art style. So I think every single art style will have an audience that loves it, people that will appreciate your art and that you can show it to. And there will be people that don't like your art style and will try to bring you down and tell you that it's not art. And those kind of people you shouldn't really listen to. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, of course, but that doesn't mean that you have to listen to it and kind of get offended by it and get disappointed and disheartened by it. So everyone should have their opinion, just don't let it get to you. If you enjoy creating your art and your art style, then go for it. The only time that I think an art style, well, it's not really not an art style, but if someone says that they have their own specific art style, but it's not really their art style, they're just doing that because they don't understand or can't do the fundamentals, if that makes sense. So if someone doesn't know how to draw hands, for example, and they just do them the same every time and they just say it's their art style. But really, it's not that it's their art style, it's just because they don't understand how to draw them realistically, or they don't understand the anatomy and they're not happy with what they're drawing and they just call it their art style. So if you're happy with what you're drawing and it looks like how you want it to look like and it's your art style, then that's completely fine. But if you're not happy with what you're drawing and it doesn't look like what you want it to look like, then I think that you should probably just try to research and keep practicing rather than just calling it your art style, because this might be limiting you. But I definitely think that every art style is valid. I like anime, even if I don't do it myself. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate other people doing it. I love realism. I think that it's a great kind of application of technical skill. People love to have themselves drawn, or pets and people they want to remember. And I think that photorealism and realism can bring life to a photograph through a drawing and really make it look 10 times better sometimes. And it helps kind of preserve that memory. And I think there's no need to call things not art. If someone is happy doing what they want to do and it's bringing other people happiness, then there's no reason to stop doing it. There's, with music, there's loads of different music styles that loads of people kind of like their individual style. That doesn't mean that different genres of music aren't music. It just means that it's not everybody's cup of tea, and that's totally fine. So just keep doing what you love to do, and everyone else keep doing what they want to do, and there's no reason to tell each other that their art style is wrong or that art isn't art. So just do what makes you happy. There's just no reason to bring each other down, really. Anyway, I just want to quickly talk about the actual painting that I'm doing. And as you can see, she's kind of coming into her own now. She kind of looks a lot better than she did during the watercolour stage. And that's what I mean where I had a lot of problems when I was doing the watercolour. So it kind of just went a bit messy. I lost all of the facial structures, especially on the nose. Oh my God, the nose was a complete mess, but I managed to fix it with the coloured pencils. And in the end, I really enjoyed working on this because, for example, with the hair, I learned lots of new techniques and I tried new things that I'd never have thought to do before if I was planning it. If I was planning this piece and I was planning all the colours and everything, I would never have done the hair looking the way it does now. And I really like the way the hair turned out. It's one of my favourite parts of this piece. It's not my, favourite piece that I've ever done, but it's still something that I'm happy with because it's something that I didn't have any sort of expectation on. So I wasn't disappointed in any way because I had no sort of thought of what I wanted it to look like. And I think that's another way that you guys can be happier with the art you create, is not to go in with such a strong vision of what you want it to look like, because you might get really disappointed if it doesn't look like that. So just go in, you can plan things, plan the colours, but don't get too disappointed if it veers away from how you thought it did in your mind. A lot of the time when I do a piece, an original piece, it does look a lot different than what I started out thinking, and that's okay. It evolves as you start creating the piece. You might want to change things, and that's fine. So another thing was the eyes, and I added a lot of white gel pen. I did a lot of white gel pen on this piece for some reason, and I also added a bit of ink, and I don't normally do that. So it was definitely fun to try out these new sort of ideas. It has a bit more of a kind of semi-realistic, if you can call it that. It's definitely not like realistic, but it does have realistic elements to it, along with the sort of galaxy, starry night sky, which I really liked doing. So yeah, this piece was really, really fun to do. And I'm definitely going to do more things like this in the future, where I just kind of experiment and just draw something down and paint whatever comes to mind, really. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm just going in with the white Caran d'Ache Luminance colour pencil. If you want to know what materials I'm using for this piece, then I'll link them all in the description below so that you can check them out and get them yourself if you want them. Also, if you're new to my channel and you liked this piece and want to hear more discussions, then feel free to subscribe and tick that bell icon so that you get notified on all of my future videos. And also, I'd love to hear your suggestions on what sort of topics you'd want to hear me talk about next time, and also what sort of other videos you'd like to see me create, whether you like this type of video or whether you want to see more tutorials. Obviously, I am still going to be doing my tutorials as well as these videos. So for people that were commenting on my last video, I will be doing both of the types of videos. But I thought this kind of video is a bit more fun, and I like to talk to you guys about stuff, so it'll be really fun for me and hopefully fun for you guys. So definitely comment suggestions for future topics, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.